Merab Dvalishvili is on one hell of a run at bantamweight, and it seems like the next title contender will be Cory Sandhagen. And while I don't think Cory will beat Merab, I have to acknowledge that Cory does present several very, very interesting threats to Merab's title reign with a variety of different skills. So in this video, we're going to discuss them. We're going to talk about some of the different ways that Cory can win and just how he can implement those things. First thing is that Cory is a volume guy. He's not going to rely on just a one-shot knockout. He's not going to throw five strikes around in hopes that one of them will knock you out. He's quite literally the polar opposite to O'Malley in terms of activity in striking, right? If he's going to strike with you, he's going to constantly put a jab on you. He's going to mix up the targets. He's going to make sure that he's always doing something, right? He's not going to just pray and hope. He's going to be methodical with it. And I think that's an okay thing because realistically, you're not going to knock out Merab, so why not just commit to volume? And Cory has shown time and time again that he does put the volume on people very, very well in a variety of ways, like against a Marlon Moraes, like against a Petr Yan. He was putting good volume on him, against a Chito Vera, even on the ground, against a Song Yadong, constantly peppering in jabs. And it's a different approach that Merab hasn't really seen before. Most people are just simply trying to knock his head off or attack him with some really dynamic kicks or trying to out-wrestle him. It's just something different that Sandhagen can present. And while he lacks the power in his hands, Sandhagen, I think, is a bit more effective with dynamic attacks than someone like O'Malley. O'Malley will just commit to just a step-in knee forward, and he had some success with it, but he became really, really reliant on it. Sandhagen is really good at getting height. He's very robotic, almost, in the way he does his flying knee, but it's just really, really quick. And if you look at the way Merab moves forward, it's actually quite similar to like a Frankie Edgar, and we see in his fight with Sandhagen was able to time that movement and hit him with a flying knee flush. And I really think that'd be an effective way of doing it, as you're getting off the ground and less likely to be taken down. There is also the fact that he is very proficient with elbows. I think if you're struggling to hurt someone with your punches or your kicks and they just keep coming forward and they keep filling that space, elbows are a way to go. Because even if it doesn't rock or stun them, if they walk into an elbow, they're going to get cut. They're going to get bruised. It happens every time. And you see it with Song Yadong. He just constantly waited forward, Sandhagen started jabbing, and then turned that into a lead elbow and essentially destroyed Song Yadong's entire eye. And I think, an approach like that against Merab is going to be very effective because he constantly does fill that space, and he is shown to be able to take punches well. And Cory's a very smart guy. Just in the octagon, he's a thinker. And I really do think that he's going to start implementing elbows in pretty effectively against Merab, and I think he's going to have quite a bit of success with them in moments of the fight. Then there's also how he approaches the grappling. So everyone that's ever grappled with Merab, other than Umar, who was aiming to grapple with him offensively, they just try to get up. And that's the thing. Merab can constantly cycle through takedowns over and over and over again and tie you out. That's his favorite thing to do. He doesn't care about getting a dominant position. He's just going to gas you out. So if you constantly try to get up against him, he loves that. You saw it against O'Malley. He started really having success in that third round when O'Malley started to keep getting up, and then Merab just kept on cycling through takedowns and taking him down and mat returning them. Sandhagen, on the other hand, has slowly grown into a very, very proficient jiu-jitsu fighter. And he will attack the legs very well. He will attack a handful of submissions. He'll attack from inverted triangles after flying knees, and he will mix up his attacks. But I think the leg attacks are going to be really, really interesting against Merab because it's just something that no one's ever really attacked him for, and I don't really think he'd expect it to be in danger on the ground from a jiu-jitsu perspective. It's something that we haven't really seen from Merab, and we haven't really seen anyone try to play that kind of jiu-jitsu game against him. And Davison Figueiredo is an extremely game jiu-jitsu player in MMA. Extremely. Chito Vera, while he has terrible takedown defense, has pretty solid jiu-jitsu. Like, he has a handful of submissions, and he's pretty proficient on the ground. Sandhagen toyed with him, right? Same with Song Yadong, a absolute powerhouse who has really good takedown defense in his own right. Was able to toy with him on the ground. Rob Font, who, while he doesn't have the best takedown defense, is still pretty good at get-ups and proficient in jiu-jitsu, and Sandhagen is just dominating these people on the ground. And even against TJ Dillashaw, I don't think a lot of people remember this, but he actually shredded apart Dillashaw's knee in the first round of their fight, and that's why Dillashaw was out for a year afterwards, because he blew everything in Dillashaw's knee very effectively. And against a guy that just wants to come forward, if Sandhagen can do damage to the knee, cut him open a bit, I think that's going to be really, really effective. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Sandhagen is going to beat Merab. That's not my goal. Right, when you have a really dominant champion with a very aggressive skill set, it's not about, okay, does this person beat him, but more about what skills they have that could work. And that's why, even if I do get my prediction wrong, I feel like I do predict the fight fairly well. It's because you got to look at the skills rather than who you think is going to win, or at least from my perspective, because I like learning, I like evolving my knowledge on the sport, right? So Sandhagen does actually have a lot of interesting skills to combat Merab, and I'm interested to see how Merab deals with them, because at this point, there's not really a huge amount of interesting matchups, and I feel like Sandhagen's going to be the last guy where we're like, okay, how's this fight going to go? Because next up, what is it going to be? Probably Yarn if he beats Marcus McGee. Like, it's going to be interesting, but I'm really quite looking forward to it. I really hope this fight does get done sooner rather than later. I'd love to see it on the Chicago card, but I doubt it, considering the quality of the last few pay-per-views. Sorry. But hopefully we see that relatively soon, as it'll be an exciting fight. Neither fighter really took much damage in the last outing, so they can get that done pretty quickly. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts on Sandhagen, leave your thoughts on his skill set, how he matches up with Rob. Love to start a discussion with everyone, and I'll see you guys later.